So hello, welcome back to the next unit. Today we are going to start the unit job analysis, and all the topics that we are going to discuss in today's class are mentioned here for your reference. Now let's get into the class. So today our topic is job analysis, right? So before directly entering into the theory part of job analysis, let us understand the term analysis first. Then we will go to job analysis and then further concepts. So what do we mean by analysis? See, for example, let us assume that I am a CEO of a company and you are one of the manager in my organization. Now some random accident happened in our organization. So I call you to my cabin and tell that see, there is this accident that happened in this particular place. Please visit the accident site and collect complete information. That means analyze the situation there and come back and report to me. In this way, if I tell you what I actually mean here, if I tell you that go to the accident site and analyze the entire situation and come back and report me, that means I'm indirectly asking you to collect the complete information about the accident site. Go to the accident site, visit the accident site, collect the complete information, each and every piece of information available there. Collect that, come back with the information. Now with that information that you have collected, we will make out something. That means we will take out something from the information collected. That is basically the thing called as analyze. That means here we are analyzing the accident. Okay, so that is the basic meaning of analyze. Now what do we mean by job analysis? Here we are analyzing the job. That means here instead of an accident site, here we are collecting the complete information regarding a particular job. That means what is this job, what are the basic rules and responsibilities of the job, what basically this job is intended for. That means what are the basic responsibilities of this job, what are the expectations from this job, and the person who is sitting in that particular job and performing, what are his education or what are his experience, what is the basic requirement of that person, and what is the basic roles and responsibilities of this particular job. In this way, when we talk about job analysis or analysis of a particular job, here we are collecting a complete information regarding a particular job. So that is the basic concept of job analysis. Now what are the different situations in which we collect information regarding a job? Like I just told you, right, in this accident example, telling that there is this accident in our organization. Please go to the accident area and analyze the situation, come back with all the information and report to me. In this way, we just had an example, right? Now what do we mean by job analysis? We have just seen. Now what are the different situations or what are the different cases in which we actually do job analysis? That means what are the different situations in which we actually collect the information regarding a job? What are the different situations? Let's think. When all do we collect the information regarding entire information regarding a job? When all do we do that? Now let us take certain situations where we actually do job analysis. The first and foremost thing is while recruiting, right? That means when you are when you did your human resource planning, that means when you are looking for a workforce, or when you are looking for workforce in your organization, you do this job analysis, right? That means see, if you want to basically recruit someone into your organization, first of all you need to know in which position are you going to place that person, right? Like what are the roles and responsibilities of this particular job. If you know the roles and responsibilities of a particular job, then only you will try to find out a person who is fit enough to perform all these roles and responsibilities in that job, right? So basically when you do recruiting, that is the first case in which you do job analysis. That means that is one of the cases where you collect complete information regarding the job, right? That is first case. Now the second case or the second situation where we usually do job analysis, or where we usually collect complete information regarding a job, is when there is any change in the organizational hierarchy, or when you are changing the job descriptions of any job. Now what is this particular job description again means? See, basically in the further part of this video we will be learning about this concept, but just to give you a basic idea, see, there is this job analysis, right? Complete information regarding a job, right? Now when you take a particular job and if you find out complete information regarding that particular job, you will be having two kinds of information there. One is the roles and responsibilities that are expected or that are to be performed by that particular job. And number two, or you'll also be having information about the minimum qualifications of a person who is about to do that job. That means for example, if I take the job of a manager, human resource manager. Now what will be the basic roles and responsibilities of the human resource management manager? To take care of all the HR aspects, to take care of compensation, performance, training, development. In this way, based on the organization, that will be the basic roles and responsibilities of any job, HR manager job. Okay, that is basically called as job description. where this particular thing called as job description, this particular piece of information called as job description describes the roles and responsibilities of the job. Next, we have a different component called as job specification, where this gives out this piece of information or this category of information. Job specification gives out the information, or basically it gives out the minimum requirements that are required for a person in order to do that roles, in order to perform that roles and responsibility. For example, let's take the same job, HR manager. We just saw the job description, right? The roles, responsibilities, duties to be performed, all those things. Let's look at job specifications. What will be the job specifications for this particular HR manager? It will be like minimum 5 years experience. He should have a post graduation degree in HR. He should have relevant experience in relevant field, or he should not be more than 35 years of age. In this way, you are basically trying to fill out the specifications or the minimum qualifications of the person who has to do this job. This kind of information, all this kind of information which refers to the basic qualifications of the employee, or basic requirements from the the applicant, the employee's point of view in order to perform the job roles and responsibilities, is generally termed as job specification. So basically, job analysis has two kinds of information. That means job analysis is basically all the information regarding a particular job. Now in all this information regarding a particular job, you will be having two types inside that. Not types, but you will be having two kinds of information. Some part of the information from this, each and every information about the job, some part will be referring to the roles and responsibilities of the job, and some part of that information, the remaining part of that information, will be referring to the qualifications that are required for a person in order to perform the roles and responsibilities, or in order to justify that particular job description. Okay, now this is the basic concept. We will be discussing about this, but just to give you a basic idea, this is job specification and job description. Keep this aside, come back to our original example. Now we were discussing what are the different cases in which you will be doing job analysis, or what are the different situations in which we will basically be collecting information regarding job. We told that in the first scenario, basically while recruiting, we will be collecting different information about the job. That means while basically trying to take in the workforce into your organization, you will be considering different information regarding a job, right? That means, see, in simple terms, if you want to roll out a job advertisement, you need to know, right, what you have to roll out in the job and advertisement and all. That is basically one situation where we will be collecting the information regarding a job. Okay, recruitment. Next, when you change the organizational hierarchy, or when you change the job description, or when you redesign, or basically when you make any change in the job, in any job in an organization, or in the organizational hierarchy or the job hierarchy in an organization, that is also one situation where you do job analysis. Now what do we mean by changing the job description of an of a job in an organization, or change in the organizational hierarchy? Now see, for example, if in my organization I have four different HR managers, in my organization I have four different HR managers, where one of the HR manager looks after recruitment, one of the HR manager looks after compensation, one of the HR manager looks after legal compliance, and one of the HR manager looks after compensation. For example, in my organization there are these four people. Now if I think that four people are too much, now I want to remove one person, and share his rules and his roles and responsibilities to the remaining three people. In this way, if I decide that I want to reduce this one person, that means if I want to reduce this one job in general, and if I want to share his roles and responsibilities among three other the remaining three people, here also I need to collect information about regarding this particular job, right? I also have to collect information regarding regarding these three people's job, right? So that I make sure that one single person is not overburdened with the work. In this way, this is also one situation where I will be collecting information regarding a job. Okay, the first one is recruiting. The second one is when I change any when I bring out any change, or when I plan to bring out any change in the organizational hierarchy, or if I try to change any job description in the organization. That is also one situation where I will be doing job analysis, right? Now let's think about another situation where we will be collecting information regarding the job. There is this another situation where, see, if you want to change the compensation, or if you want to bring any change in the compensation in an organization, you need to have idea about the job, right? In this scenario, you can't just directly go into the organization and throw out random numbers telling that okay, for these members you increase this much, for these many members you increase this much. See, you have to follow certain pattern in an organization. Let me give you a simple example. For example, there is this assistant manager, there is this manager, okay, HR, assistant manager, manager. This manager salary is, for example, 50,000. This assistant manager salary is, for example, 45,000. Okay, let's take this scenario. Now, if you randomly go into the organization and tell that, okay, assistant manager is performing well, increase his salary by 10,000. Now, his salary will be 10,000 more from 45, that is 55. Now, this particular person's salary will be 50. He's a manager, his salary is 50. He's an assistant manager, his salary is 55. Now, this will not be justifiable, and this will easily cause a dispute in the organization. This will easily result to a problem in the organization. That's why randomly you don't throw in numbers. So basically, if you want to increase any salaries or if you want to bring a change in any compensation or remuneration in an organization, you also do this job analysis. Now you can raise a point telling that, see, in software companies, people tell that they will randomly tell that each and every employee will get 10% hike. Then each and every employee is getting 10% hike. Okay, so basically, in these kind of cases or in these kind of situations, we basically collect information regarding a job. So till now, we have discussed what do we mean by the basic understanding about the term analysis. We talked about job analysis in general, and we also talked about different situations where we will be doing job analysis, or basically, what are the different situations in which job analysis is required, job analysis is done. All those things we have discussed, and we also discussed the different outcomes. We also discussed this topic called as the different outcomes of job analysis. That is a particular topic that I wanted to discuss, but I just gave you a random explanation regarding that. I told you, right? See, out of all the information that is obtained from job analysis, you will be having two kinds of information within that information. That means, for example, if if I collected information regarding a particular job, I noted down each and everything. In throughout the notes that I have collected the information regarding a particular job, I will be having certain part of that particular information regarding to job specification and certain part of the information regarding to job description. Now let's get into the theory part. So the second unit, job analysis. Now we talked about the basic concept regarding to job analysis, and we also discussed why. That means what is the basic importance of the job analysis, or what are the different situations we do job analysis, or why do we do job analysis. We discussed the topic telling that, see, we do job analysis in different situations, like this situation, number 2 situation, number 3 situation. In this way, there are so many different situations in which we have to do job analysis. So that is the answer to the question why. Okay, now let's start with the definition. So if you want to basically define job analysis in a single sentence, you can actually tell that collecting all the information regarding a particular job. But if you want to have more clarified or more detailed definition just for your understanding, just look at this definition. See, it is the systematic process of okay, it is a systematic process of collecting information about all the parameters of the job, like responsibilities, the behaviors, the skills required to do a job, the physical and mental parameters of the people performing it or about to perform it, the tools used, the environment, the working conditions, time when it's needed to be done, with whom it should be done, expected outcome, performance levels, etc. So it's a systematic process. It is a systematic process. Job analysis is a process which involves a series of steps, which we will be discussing later. But basically, it is a systematic process which deals with collecting information relating to all the aspects of a particular job. For example, we listed out some of the aspects of a job. Okay, this is basically the concept of job analysis. Now, outcomes of job analysis we have just discussed, right? About from all the information that you get after doing the job analysis, from that information you will be having two outcomes. That means from all the information that you have basically collected using this job analysis, you can actually segregate the information into two different outcomes, or you will be having two different pieces of information that you get from job analysis. That means job analysis has two basic outcomes, which are job specification and job description. We already looked after the explanation of this, telling that job description basically describes the job roles and responsibilities and all those things. Job specification gives out the basic requirements of the person who is fulfilling that job or who is about to fulfill that job. Now see, outcomes of job analysis, there are basically two outcomes of job analysis: job description and job description and job specification. Job description is, it is a written statement about the overall tasks, duties and responsibilities of a job, like title, working conditions, supervision, location, etc. This describes the job. Now job specification, it gives the specifications or particulars required to do the job, like knowledge, skills, capabilities, experience, etc. Now whenever you see a job advertisement which is posted in certain things like employment news, for example, take employment news in example, not only employment news, any job advertisement posted, when you see a job advertisement, it will be having information related to both job specification and job description. That means in one column it will be like title of the job, basic roles and responsibilities, working conditions. That means for example, in certain jobs, like for example, mines, underground jobs, you'll be having working conditions also. You'll be having all those things relating to the job. Now you'll be having a different you'll be having a different piece of information, or in a separate column you'll be telling that minimum education required, minimum educational qualification, minimum experience and all these particular things in certain jobs, like defense jobs, not only defense jobs, in certain mining jobs and all, you'll be also having physical requirements and all these things. So basically a job advertisement usually looks like this. So basically a job advertisement does not have a heading telling them this is a job description, this is the job specification, but it basically has information relating to both job specification and job description. Okay, now let's look at the next important thing in this particular job analysis topic, which is the process of job analysis. Now I will be explaining this entire process of job analysis using a very small example. If you understand that particular example, you can easily understand this process without even any effort of remembering. Now let's look at, first of all, let's look at what are the different steps involved in job analysis. Now see, this is the process of job analysis. I told you right in the starting, we talked telling that job analysis is a systematic process. There I told you right, this particular job analysis involves a series of steps, right? Now see, process of job analysis. The first step in the process, just keep this steps in your mind. We will be talking about an example where you can actually relate. The first step is defining the objectives. Second thing is preparing the job analysis. Third thing is performing the actual job analysis. That means going out and collecting the information. Fourth thing is designing the job description and job specification, controlling the job description and job specification. Now, just keep these steps in your mind. Now let's start with the example. Now, let us assume that you and I, we are partners and we own a very big organization in India. Let's just consider this as an example where we both are partners and we own a very big organization in India. And our head office, our organization, our company's head office is located in Delhi. And let's assume that we have branches of our office in each and every state in the country. So this is basically the example that you have to remember. Let us assume that we both are partners and we both have an organization, very famous company in the entire India. So we had our head office of our company in Delhi, and we also have our branches of our company in each and every state in India. Okay, keep this in mind. Now let us assume that something bad happened, or we are not able to compete in the market. So what we did, we closed down each and every branch in the country, in each and every state except for one state. Okay, so initially we had our head office in Delhi and we had our branches, our office branches in each and every state in India, right? Now let us assume that something bad happened, like our product failed, or we were financially very bad. Something happened and we cannot run the entire branches anymore. So what we decided, we closed down each and every branch in every state in the country except one. That means in Delhi, our home branch is there, and in any random state one branch is there. That's it. Each and every other branch in each and every other state in India, we just shut down. Now, this is generally practically not it doesn't happen like this, but just for understanding, just for the example, keep this example in mind. Now you understood what what is the example, right? We both partners, very big company throughout India. In each state we have our branches. Our home branch is in Delhi. Something bad happened, we shut down each and every branch in each and every state except for one random state. It may be any state, one state. So basically our head office is still running in Delhi and one branch is still operating in one random state throughout India. This is the example that you have to keep in mind. Okay, now see. Now initially what we thought, initially our company is very huge. We had branches in each and every state in India. So we will automatically be having large number of workforce, right? So in order to deal with all the workforce, what we did is we both discussed, we both had a meeting, and we both are heads of the company, right? We both decided that, see, there is so much workforce throughout the country that is at present working for us. Initially, before the bad thing happened, there's so much workforce working for us. So we need so many different people in order to manage them. So we had this discussion, and finally we came to the conclusion telling that, okay, to manage the recruitment throughout the country, we will be having one head of the department for recruitment department. That means one recruitment head for managing the recruitment throughout the country, and we will take him and we will put him in the Delhi head office. Similarly, we will be appointing one, legal compliance head, and we placed him in the Delhi. And we similarly we also appointed one training and development head, and we placed him in Delhi. Now in this way we have so many different heads. What we did is, we are the owners, right? We have discussed, and we had basically recruited one head for each and every function of the human resource management. For recruitment we had one head, for training and development we appointed one head, for legal compliance we appointed one head. Similarly, for performance management throughout the country, one person as a head of performance management functions throughout the country in all our branches, we appointed one person. Similarly, for for what are the different other functions, like for performance management, for legal compliance, for compensation, okay, for in this way, for each and every function of human resource, since our workforce is too much, and it will be very difficult for very few people to manage workforce throughout the country, what we did is we both mutually discussed, and we appointed different heads for different functions in human resource. So we took them, we placed them in Delhi, our head office. Now this was initially we had too much workforce. Now we don't have any workforce, there is only one branch operating. So again we both conducted a meeting, and we both sat together, and we decided that, see, initially we had like lakhs and lakhs of employees workforce. So because we need so many people to deal with them, we appointed one head for each and every function, and we placed them in Delhi. Now only one branch is running throughout the country. Do we actually require different heads for different HR functions? We started this conversation, and we came to the conclusion that, okay, instead of putting one head of the department for each and every function of human resource, we will remove some people. Okay, we will remove some people. For some people, for example, for training and development head, we will keep him that only. That means we will not change his job, or we will not any change his job description, nothing. He used to be the head of training and development department. Let him be. But when it comes to the recruitment, when it comes to compensation, legal compliance, performance management, what we'll do is, we will reduce some of the jobs, or we will remove some of the people, and we will tell that, okay, you take care of these two areas, you take care of these two areas, you remain in the same position, or take care of the same roles and responsibilities that you used to do before this bad thing happened. In this way, what we discussed in a meeting, telling that, we discussed that we are going to change this, all the heads of the all the heads of the organization, since we don't have so much workforce. And we why do we need those many different heads for very less workforce? So we thought that, let us reduce the number of heads of the head of the department for each and every function. This is what we concluded in our meeting. See, and this entire thing is an example, just to explain the process. You will not forget the process if you understand this example. So this is the example. You have understood the example, right? Now see, now starts our original process of job analysis. What did I tell you? What do we mean by job analysis? Collecting information regarding a job, right? Now let's start job analysis process here. What is the first step that we have discussed in job analysis? Setting the objectives, right? Now before doing job analysis, or before starting to collect job information, entire information relating to a particular job, you need to have an objective. You always need to have a need or objective or a goal. Because see, doing job analysis involves a lot of time, right? And in organizations, time means money. So you are putting time in risk, you're putting money at risk. And also, when you want to do job analysis, when you want to collect information regarding a particular job, you also have to consult those people, right? You have to collect information from people who are actually doing it. So here you are putting their time also at risk, right? So basically, job analysis requires so many different things that you have to put it as a investment, as a cost. So basically, job analysis, you have to do job analysis only when you have an objective, or when you have a need, or when you have a goal of doing that particular thing. So basically, first and foremost thing is objectives, right? In this particular example that we have discussed in our organization throughout India, in this example, we thought of changing the job descriptions, or we thought of changing the job hierarchy in the organization by removing some of the heads, right? Now, in order to do that, we need to collect information, right? That means we told, right, we will ask some of the heads of the department to take care of more than one area of human resource management. For example, we will approach the recruitment head of the department throughout the country. We'll ask him that, see, since there is no workforce, you take care of recruitment as well as performance management. Okay, in this way, we are basically changing their job descriptions, right, which were initially assigned to them. We are changing them. Now, that is our basic objective. Our basic objective in this example is changing the organization's hierarchy due to some loss or whatever it is. This is our basic objective. Okay, now the second step, what we did, collect the information about the different jobs. That is basically the second step. Okay, in second, next what we do is, see, I told you in the example, right, certain head of the departments we will not change, or we will not bring any change in their roles and responsibilities. For example, I told you, right, see, we'll go to the we'll go to one of the head of the department, and we'll tell that, okay, you don't need to change anything. You do your own roles and responsibilities that were assigned to you initially. All the remaining members, we are changing your roles and responsibilities. That means we are removing some people, and we are just consolidating all their roles and responsibilities. That means we are sharing all the roles and responsibilities of the people that are leaving our organization. Their roles and responsibilities I am sharing with you, with some of you. And you in particular, you do not have any change in your job description. That means you do not have any change in your roles and responsibilities. You keep on you keep on working on your own thing. The rest of the people, we are changing job. In this way, we are actually selecting the jobs which we are wanting to change, right? In this way, this next step, in the first step of the process of job analysis, you keep your objectives. That means you establish your objectives. In the second step, you choose all the jobs for which you will do job analysis. In the third step, once you have your objectives, once you have all the jobs in your mind that you actually want to do job analysis for, the next thing is you actually go out and collect the information. That means you go out and you collect the information for each and every job that you want to change. In our example, which we have chosen only some of the jobs. We thought that since there is no workforce, there is no point of having different individual or different heads for each and every small function in human resource management. So we are planning to consolidate some of the jobs of some of the heads. So in this way, we have set our objectives. That is the first step in the process of job analysis. Next, we have chosen the jobs which we want to do job analysis for. Here we have choose some of the jobs. The third step, we do job analysis. That means we'll directly go to the jobs whichever we want to bring a change in. We will actually go to them. We will start collecting information. Now, while collecting the information, we can use so many different methods, which is our next topic. That means we can directly go to those heads and ask them, please give us information about your roles and responsibilities, your duties, your qualifications. What are the different things that are required that you think have to be there in a person who is willing to do your job? In this way, you are collecting so many different things in this situation by directly asking them, or you can directly provide them with a questionnaire, or you can give them a checklist, or you can ask them their diary, their personal work diary, in order to study that and understand what are the different roles, responsibilities, tasks performed by these people. In this way, there are so many different methods in which you go out and collect information, but basically in this step of the process, you collect the information. Okay, next thing is, now you went out, you collected so much information regarding a particular job that you wanted to change. Now you will be left with a bunch of information in your hand, right? Now what you have to do is, out of all the bunch of information in your hand, and based on your objectives, you have to create, or you have to establish, or you have to write the job description and job specification. Based on all the information that you have collected, and based on your objectives and each and everything, you have to prepare the job description and job specification. Now basically what happens in reality in organizations is, they will usually prepare a draft job specification and a draft job a description, and they will communicate it to the managers or to the top management, and they'll get their approval and all these things, right? That is the last but one step in the process of job analysis. What is the last process? Continuously reviewing this particular job analysis and job description, if any changes can be made, or if any changes have to be made, or if there is a scope of any change. Okay, so this is basically the process of job analysis. You understood, right? Now let's look at the theory part. So the theory of job analysis, see, we have looked at the process, right? This particular process of job analysis, defining the objectives, preparing job analysis, performing job analysis, designing the job description and job specification, controlling the job specification and job description. Okay, these are the 5 steps. Now let's look at the theory explanation of each and every step. See, so the first step is defining the objectives, right? I told you objectives are main for doing job analysis because it is a huge cost if you don't have any objectives and still do job analysis. Okay, see, the foremost step in the process of job analysis is defining the objective of job analysis. That is the important thing. The objective could be either of the following: redesigning the job description, revising the compensation plan or program, changing the organization structure, redesigning the job in particular department. So here we are basically giving out different situations where there is a chance of job analysis. That means here in this theory part, just whatever we discussed in the initial part, telling that what are the different situations in which, or why job analysis. The answer to the question why job analysis, we have discussed it, different situations in which we may do job analysis, or in which usually job analysis is done. Different situations we told that usually in these situations and many more other situations we have to do job analysis there in those kind of situations, right? So that is what I have put down in theory. Now once the objective is selected, it should be well communicated to the top management, because with its support only the changes can be made in the organization. Okay, the top management's approval is one of the most important thing, or one of the most important prerequisite before you start job analysis. Because without job, top management support, you can't just randomly walk to any person and tell that give complete information about your job and each and everything. You can't do that. Now that is the first step where we define the objectives. The second step is preparing the job analysis. Okay, we in our particular example, where we thought of consolidating certain jobs of certain HR heads, there we actually chose what all jobs that we want to consolidate, right? Now see, in this step we do that. After setting an objective, the kind of jobs that are to be analyzed are selected. Okay, whether clerical jobs or managerial jobs or division specific job, etc. In this way, that thing we have to do in this step. Now also, the members who are included in the analysis and the methods to be used are identified. And see, first of all, if I am the person who is responsible to do all this kind of job analysis and all these things in an organization, I go to the top management and I start with the first step, telling that this is the objective, so we have to do job analysis in the organization. In this way I communicate to the top management and I get their approval. The second thing I do is I shortlist all the jobs that I actually want to do job analysis for, and also I take out, or I choose the people who are actually who I think that should do this job analysis. That means, see, for example, if there is only one job analysis can be done by a single person. If there are 60 to 70 or 70 to 80 jobs that you want to restructure or redesign or change in an organization, a single person can do it, but it will take a hell lot of time. So what they'll do is, usually certain people are selected who are about to perform this job analysis. All that thing of selection of the people who should do the job analysis and all this thing also, that will be chosen, or that all that part also will be done in this step only, in the second step of this process of job analysis. Okay, now at this stage, in the second stage, the complete review of the existing job description is done to have a fair insight of duties, responsibilities, organization chart, working conditions, hazards, etc. that exist in particular set of jobs. Now I told you, right? See, in this particular step, we shortlist each and every job that we want to do job analysis for. In this step only, what we'll do is, while shortlisting only, we look at some basic details. For example, in our example, in our organization throughout India example, there we thought of consolidating, like we thought that there are too many heads to manage very small workforce. Now we planned that, okay, let's remove some of the people and let's consolidate different jobs and assign them to single people. In this way we thought there, in while doing that only, by choosing that only, we also have to have basic idea about each and every job, just basic idea. Okay, now we move to the third step. Now we have shortlisted our required jobs that we want to do job analysis for, right? Now we will actually do the job analysis. That means here we actually collect each and every piece of information regarding the job. Now that is the third step, performing the job analysis. In this step, the next stage in the process of job analysis is to perform or begin with the job analysis. Okay, here in this step, the sufficient time should be allotted for collecting the job details from employees. That means time has to be given. I told you, right, it's a time consuming process. Depending on the job and depending on the location of that particular job, for example, if I'm in Delhi, okay, if I'm in Delhi and if I have to do job analysis for a job which is in Kanyakumari head office. Now I have to, if that is a confidential job, I personally have to do the job analysis, right? Now I have to fly from there to here, right? That means it will take, time, right? So basically time has to be given to do this particular job analysis. Now the information from the employees can be collected through questionnaires, interviews, or through observation method. In this way, you will be having so many other methods that we will be discussing in the next part. So basically, here we are telling that you are actually performing the job analysis. You are actually going out and collecting information in this particular step by using different methods. The choice is, it depends on the organization. Okay. Now, once the information gets collected, it needs to be sorted on the basis of its nature, division, department. In this way, here we are basically telling that, see, once you are done with collecting the information regarding job analysis, you will be left with a bunch of information, hell lot of information. Now basically you have to segregate. In the next step, this is where we are slowly moving to the next step, where we will use all the information to come out with something called as job description, job specification. That is the next step. See, so moving on to the next step, which is designing job description and job specification. That's what we were, discussing. Based on all the information that you have collected from the job analysis, you actually prepare a draft job description and job specification. Now, at this stage, in this stage, the job analyst, that means the person who is basically does or basically doing the job analysis is generally termed as job analyst. Okay. At this stage, the job analyst prepares a draft of the job description and the specifications. Now, what do we mean by that? Let's go back to our example, our organization throughout India example. Now, see, for example, what we thought like, each and every function of human resource management had a separate head. Okay. And we thought that since, workforce is not there, let's remove some of the heads and tell that, every remaining head, listen, we are removing like, some 4 to 5 different heads. All of you are there, right? You just share their job. That means, for example, till now you are only looking after recruitment. From today you look after recruitment and compensation also. You till now you are looking at performance management. From today you look at performance management and legal compliance also. You are looking at training and development. Previously you don't change your job. You look at training and development only, because that is a lot of lot of work to do. So your job is not changed. In this way we did it, right? Now see, we have collected info, we have choose certain jobs to do job analysis in our example, and we have collected information regarding each and every job, right? Now initially each and every different job had each their own different job specification, job description, right? Now we are actually planning to consolidate different jobs, right? That means initially this this head had their job specification and job description relating to recruitment. Now we are actually planning to bring in the compensation heads roles, responsibilities, and we are actually trying to assign this person those extra roles and responsibilities. Now definitely this particular job specification and job description has to be changed, right? Now this particular job analyst, what he does is he prepares a draft job specification and job description, job analysis, telling that, okay, this will be your new job specification, this will be your new job description. In this way he will prepare a draft and he will forward it to the top management, the managers, the employees, and all this. Now see, that's what we will be discussing now. After sorting of the information, the changes that are need to be made in the jobs is identified and is written on paper. That is simply a draft. Once the draft gets prepared, it is circulated to the managers, the superiors, and the employees. Okay. Now we will move to the last step, that is controlling the job descriptions and job specifications. What we actually do in this step is, see, this is the last step in the process of job analysis, wherein the job descriptions and specifications are timely checked and modified according to the changing needs of the organization. So this is basically the process of job analysis, where we told that it is a systematic activity of collecting information regarding to all the aspects relating to job, right? We told that it is a systematic process and it has a series of steps that has to be followed, right, in order to perform this job analysis. We told that the first step is defining the objectives, where you actually define the objectives of why are you actually doing job analysis, or what is the need for this job analysis that has to be done. And we also told that in this step only, you also once you come out with the outcomes, you go to the top management, you submit your outcomes to the top management, and you take that permission, right? That is the first step. And next you move to the second step, right? What do you do in the second step? You basically prepare the job analysis. That means you basically shortlist all the jobs for which you want to do job analysis for, and simultaneously you also choose the different people who you think has to be, not you think, in some cases, in most of the cases actually, organizations already decide telling that, you do the job analysis, or basically it gives up the responsibilities to different people, telling that okay, you take care of the job analysis and all these things. So basically, all the job analysts or all the people who actually do the job analysis for this entire process are actually also shortlisted or selected in this step. So this is basically the second step. Then we move on to performing the job analysis, where we actually go out and collect information, or we basically go out and actually do the job analysis, where we also use so many different methods simultaneously in order to perform this job analysis. That is the third step. Now, by the end of the third step, we will be left with so much information regarding to different jobs that we have chosen, right, to do job analysis for. Now, we move to the fourth step, where which involves the designing of job descriptions and job specifications, where we will be, we have gotten all the information, right. Now, based on the information and based on our requirements and based on our objectives, we basically prepare a draft job specification and job description, and then forward it to all the superiors or the managers or the employees. Now, the last thing that we do, or the last step in this process, is controlling the job descriptions and job specifications, where we look after, see if there is any scope of improvement, need of improvement, any need of change, and all these things. So they basically, this is the process of job analysis. Okay, now we will move to the last topic, which is, in this process, while discussing one of the step of the process, we told that we will be using different methods in order to do job analysis, right. Simply I am telling that, see, in order to collect information regarding this job and regarding this particular job, or in order to perform this job analysis, you can actually use so many different methods. Now, what are the different methods that can be used in organizations in order to perform job analysis, or in order to collect information regarding particular job or any set of jobs? What are the different methods that you can use in organizations? Now let's move to that particular topic. So moving to the last topic of today's class, which is different methods of job analysis. Okay, the first and foremost method, see, the main thing is, if you refer from different textbooks or different sources, you will be finding different methods in each and every source. That means, for example, in one kind of textbooks, you will be seeing all these methods. In another kind of textbook, you will be seeing these methods, and you will be seeing extra one or two. In another type of textbooks, you will not even be seeing all these things. You will only be seeing a few of them. So in this way, depends on your source, but basically there are so many other methods which are used in order to collect information in an organization relating to job, right. That means basically to do job analysis, right. So we have taken the most commonly used. So coming back to this topic, different methods of job analysis. The first method is observation, where you basically observe. That means, for example, see, now this observation method doesn't work for each and every job. These, for example, if I want to do job analysis for a basic job, that means if I want to do job analysis for a job of a floor cleaner, or basically a sweeper, I can basically I can basically prepare my job analysis by observing, right. I can basically observe them, telling that, what are they doing, what are the different rooms that they are covering, what are the different things that they are using in order to do this cleaning, sweeping, and all these things, right. For those kind of jobs, that means the jobs which do not, which do not involve much complexity, you can actually use this observation method. Now let's take an example of an electrical engineer who works with very complicated integrated circuits, very small integrated circuits. Now, I can't just stand beside an electrical engineer and keep observing, telling that which all dots is he connecting with the soldering machine and all these things, right. It's very difficult, right. So basically, this observation method may be effective, in certain cases, and may not be effective in certain cases. But observation method is one of the most easiest methods. Okay, so basically this is the first method. The second method is survey method, where you use different surveys in order to find out what this job basically means, what are the basic roles and responsibilities of the job, what are the basic requirements of the job. In this way, you conduct surveys. Now you also use the third kind of method, which is interview method, where you directly go to the person who is actually performing the job, or you go to the person who has experience in performing the job, and you directly interview them. Okay, for example, if there is this for example, if in an organization a person joined as a human resource manager, and after promotions, he became the vice chairman of the company. Now, if you want to do job analysis for the job of a HR manager, you can either approach someone who is actually doing the job of human resource management manager, or you can directly approach anyone who has experience. In this particular example, you can directly approach the vice chairman of the organization and ask him about the information relating to the job of human resource manager, because he has done it, he has experience in that particular kind of job. So in this way, you do the interview method. Now you also have this method called as checklist method, where you prepare the list of items that are done and that are not done relating to a particular job, and you just tick all the things that are relevant and all these things. Now, there is also this performance called a self-performance method. This is another method which is suitable in some jobs and it is not suitable in some jobs. Self-performance method is where you actually go, you perform the job yourself, and from that whatever you got, whatever you came to know, that information you use for job analysis. That means, for example, we have these movies in which which tell one day CM, one day chief minister, right? In that way, you are basically trying to learn what is the basic duties of a chief minister, what are the roles and responsibilities, what do you have to have in order to justify to that role of a chief minister. In this way, you are actually learning all these things, you are actually collecting the information about all these things by actually performing the role. This is basically called a self performance method. Again, this is one method where which is suitable in certain jobs and which is not suitable in certain jobs. This is one of the method. And moving on to the next method, the next method is called as diary method, where certain jobs in certain organizations require the employees to maintain a diary or a log where they note each and everything that they do. For example, see, let's take a job of an employee who works on a heavy machinery where he has to write down each and everything, each and every reading that is displayed on the machinery, or each and every button that he has clicked, or each and every lever that he has pulled in during the course of his work in on that particular day. So in that particular case, if you want to do job analysis for that particular job, you can actually ask his diary, telling that, okay, give me a diary. And if you open the diary, certain jobs actually do this. If you open the diary, it will be written as, I switched on the machine, I pulled the lever at after 5 minutes, I switched on all the lights after 10 minutes, I refueled after 20 minutes. In this way, they will be having all the things that they have done during their work on that particular day or during their work in general. So basically, in this kind of method, you basically, if that particular job has this facility of maintaining a diary, or if that particular job has an obligation to maintain a diary, then you can actually collect information regarding the job using that particular diary. That is one method. And at last, you will be having a questionnaire method where you will also be it's where you prepare a questionnaire with a series of steps. That means you will be having a questionnaire. In the starting, you will be having the employee name. That means you are giving to a person in order to collect a job analysis, right, or job information, right? So basically, you approach the person from whom you are actually wanting to collect information, and you hand him the questionnaire. Now he takes the questionnaire, he fills in all the basic information like his name, his department, in this way his personal basic details. Then that particular questionnaire will be having the all the all the different questions which are trying to extract information regarding the job. That means that particular questionnaire, that means basically what you're doing is you are preparing all the things that you need in order to gain information regarding a particular job in the form of questions, and you are presenting them in the form of a questionnaire. That is basically questionnaire method. So there are many more methods, but these are the basic methods that can be used in organization in order to collect information for job analysis, right? So today we have started the topic of job analysis, right? We basically started by telling what do you mean by analysis, and then we moved on to what do you mean by job analysis, and then we tried to answer the question, why do we actually need to do job analysis, or why job analysis? That means we tried to discuss so many different situations in which we have to do job analysis, right? And then we move to the actual definition, the theoretical part. It is also the same thing that we have discussed in the initial part, in the initial discussion only, but just for your reference, we looked at the definition. After that, we looked at the different outcomes of job analysis, right? That means we told that after doing job analysis, you will be left with a bunch of information, and that bunch of information refers to two different things. One is called as job description, and one is called as job specification. That is basically the outcomes that we get from job analysis, right? And then we move to the concept called as the process of job analysis, right? We told that, see, job analysis is a systematic process. So basically, it has a sequence of steps that has to be followed, step by step procedure. We told that these are the different steps in job analysis, and each and every step this thing happens and all these things, right? And at last we move to the last concept called as the different methods of job analysis, where we discuss some of the most commonly used methods for collecting information regarding job analysis. So this has been today's topic. Let's continue in the next class. Thank you.